listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again. Today, we have another show lineup for y'all today. We're going to talk to a keynote speaker, an international podcaster, 3-time published author, entrepreneur. I just got to take a breath right there because she does so many things. We're going to talk to Sandy Joy Weston. She has an awesome website that you can visit. If you go to our website and go to this podcast and listen to this episode, it'll be in the description, but sandyjoyweston.com. Today, we're going to talk about the reset button, and she's going to tell us all about it with her own experience. So first and foremost, I want to welcome you, Sandy, to the show and say how you doing.
I'm doing great. And I have to tell you, I love First. And this is the first time I've done a radio show on a Friday night. Ever.
Awesome. Okay.
Ever.
Well, I appreciate you giving us the honors, man, to join the family of I'm Refocused, man. So when it comes to you and everything that you're all about in today's time, take us back a little bit. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and that reset button.
So, Shamai, right now everybody's talking about, you need to take a break, take a step back, reset. And I thought about it and I said, wow, I've been doing that my entire life, but didn't know what I was doing. I've been doing it since I was a kid to escape the reality I was in. I just didn't know what to call it. It just worked and it got me out of all the craziness. So the more and more I thought about it in the last few years, actually, I wrote a book called Train Your Head and Your Body Will Follow. And it was all about how you just take 1 minute to 3 minutes to get in that positive headset. And my whole idea was to get people to journal. It was a starting point. Start your morning that way, take 1 minute to 3 minutes. And I was so pumped. I was so psyched. It was a great guidebook. And it was like 2 days before Christmas. And the publisher calls me and says, Sandy, you're 70,000 words short. I go, what? I go, this is a guidebook. This is not a novel. She's like, well, that's what the contract says. And I didn't know what to do. And then I thought about it. My entire life, Shemaya, everyone thought I came from a pippy skippy, well-adjusted family. They must have had money. How else would she get where she is? And it's not like I wouldn't have told them, but people really didn't ask. They just assumed. So for the first time ever, I put just this little bit in such a light-hearted way about my life. And it was what impacted everyone the most. It was what made them sit up and say, well, maybe we should listen to her. Not to mention my friends and family are like, what the heck? How do we not even know this about you? And I said, you know what? Part of it is you didn't ask, but I think the other part was I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to be looked at differently, if I'm going to really be honest. I didn't want people to feel sorry for me, feel bad for me, whatever it is, get the side glances. But now where I am, years later, I felt I could tell my story in a powerful way that would impact others. And I didn't care about the side glances because you're going to get them. So I'm going to just take you back a little bit. I grew up in the projects, humble beginning, like it wasn't tough enough. But my mom, God rest her soul, she battled many mental health issues, many demons. And being poor, you're not put in the greatest clinics. So about 50% of her life, she was in mental institutions that we had to visit. Ugh. And trust me, they were not good ones. So I knew at a very young age, I had to come up with a plan. My brother, I don't blame him. He got stoned most of the time. Okay. That's how he escaped. And plus he sold it and it did put food on the table. So let's give him props. And he's doing great now. My dad, he left the house a lot. Many nights he slept in a laundromat because we didn't have a car because he couldn't take it. And that's a good plan, except for there's little old me. So at a very young age, I think I must have been, I can't remember how old, but I can remember back as far as the age of 9. I decided I was going to do 3 things every day to get away from this craziness and visualize where I wanted to go. And the 3 things were so simple. I was going to move, which I love dance. So that's what I did. I would focus in on 1 word a day, and I would make light of everything and laugh about every situation. Now, I had no idea it was going to bring me where I am or a career I would make in it. It's just unbelievable. But I just knew at the time, if I danced to my favorite jams, if I focused in on that 1 word, it could have been peace, love, joy, ease and flow. It didn't matter, whatever I could get to that day. And I could say, what could I do to feel that? And then whatever was going on, I would tell jokes about it. And I did it every day. Didn't take a long time, just a few minutes, every single day. And in spite what everybody said, be happy, nothing wrong with it. Be happy to be a waitress, be happy to pump gas, just be glad to graduate high school. And I would have been. I knew I had bigger plans. I had no idea where it was going to take me, but those 3 things, a few minutes got me out of that to having the most amazing life beyond my wildest dreams. And that's why everything I teach is like, don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be time consuming. Don't make a big, hairy deal out of things. It's those small things that you do, Shemaya, every single day that will have a huge impact on your life.
And you're right. 2 things about what you just said, and also doing the things that you're doing today. I mean, with that story, whoever's listening to this, they're going to be pumped and motivated to start moving. I like the uniqueness of you will focus on 1 word a day. And I think with, no offense, but with all these podcast shows, all these coaches and Instagram posts and social media, right? It's all these resources for people to get better. Mm-hmm. And it's like we try to, like a buffet line, sample everybody. And it's like, what if we just focus on 1 thing, every day? Yeah. And I think that may work for some, may not work for others. But for me, personally speaking, that's something that I will be open to practice, because I think that's very powerful. If you say, okay, I'm not going to focus on anything else today. Yeah. I'm going to focus on peace, or I'm going to focus on love. But there's the thing you said about it that really makes a difference. You said that you try to find something to do to move you in that position.
Yes.
Peace and love. And I think that's the difference, because a lot of us can think about something, but unless we actually do something about it.
Yes.
It's like watching the paint dry. It doesn't really improve.
That's true.
You have to get your paint. You got to go to Lowe's or Home Depot, whatever, and buy the paint, and then you have to dip it, and then you have to actually paint. You can't just sit idle and think that it's going to actually be better. So with you, someone listening right now, they're asking, well, how did you actually do it? Well, you tell us, how did you find your rhythm and your milestones where you're able to accomplish the small pieces to the big picture?
So for me, I just came out of the womb thinking there's something bigger than me. I knew there was energy force, higher power, something out there was looking out for me. So that was reassuring. That even if someone didn't approve of me, even someone is going completely wackadoo, and I didn't have that secure, loving family, I was like, no problem. I got the universe loving me. I have unconditional love. And guess what? It's not judging me. I don't know why, Shemai, I believed that, but I believed I'm loved, not because I'm loved no matter what. And coming from where I came, no one expected anything. So I didn't have those pressures on me either. So, hey, I could try anything. It didn't work. I'll try it again. So that was a very comforting feeling. And I knew the more that I moved, focused on a word, and laughed a lot, it would help me come back to me, attached to my heart, which was peace, love, and joy. And innately, what I believe we are made of: peace, love, and joy. So what I spent years studying, because I thought, well, maybe that's just me. I don't know if it can be taught. So I spent years studying people that also I felt exuded pure joy, no matter what they did in life. And I met with powers to be, I call them, like neuroscientists, psychologists, sports psychologists, gurus, nutritionists, exercise physiologists, because I also wanted to put some science to it. And it took me like 6 years. So like this little book took 6 years. All my guidebooks took 6 years because I wanted to do the research. And this is what I found. Here's the secret sauce that everyone could do. Every single person I studied, no matter what walk of life, they all started their day in a way for them that put them in a positive, powerful headset. It didn't matter if it was working out, meditating, petting their dog, making muffins, playing the violin, making lists, writing, all different. So don't get wrapped in, we have to do this the same way, baloney. They did what worked for them. So then I thought, okay, and it did matter. Some put a few minutes into it, some put a few hours. So I wanted to create something that would get people in that mindset. How do you start your day? For just a few minutes. Don't give me any excuses. You have extra time. So this is what you do before, and it would be mind-blowing if people just did this for 30 days. Before your feet hit the floor, you get up in the morning, sense how you're feeling. You got to tune in, be really honest with how you're feeling, and then think of a word that you want to embody. So if you're feeling pretty down, you don't want to be like, I'm going to just be filled with joy, because maybe you just want to go ease and flow or calm, Think of a word of what you want to embody and just sit there for 30 seconds and say, throughout the day, I'm going to focus on this word and what I can do to make me feel that way. Pure joy, power. Maybe you're having some great meetings and you're scared, want to feel powerful, or a presentation. Get up in the morning, write it down. I mean, there's lots of things you could do, but I want to just keep it basic. Focus in on that word, put it somewhere, change the word up every day. It doesn't matter. And then throughout the day, check in with yourself every hour. Get up, stretch around, and say, how am I feeling? Am I really feeling ease and flow? If not, what could I do to feel ease and flow? Maybe it's just walking outside and looking at a tree, moving around. I do dance resets, but you could do anything. Write in a book, call a friend. What could you do to get back to that word? For me this month, I am using 2 words because I'm doing something different with my business. So I look at it, I want it to bring me financial freedom and pure joy. So before I do anything, accept the podcast, do that deal, get on a call. Is it going to bring me pure joy and financial freedom? I swear to God, there's so many things I say no to because of that. You know what I mean? I just focus in on that word. And it will be mind-blowing just doing that, like that little thing, how it could change the whole way you show up in the world. So I just started doing this new keynote, and the big idea is life doesn't happen to you, you happen to life. And I say to everybody, you get to choose, no matter what's going on out there, how you're going to show up in the world. You get to choose. So for me, it might, like I said, whatever I'm going into, I'm going to walk out that door with pure joy. I'm going to walk out that door with peace. I'm going to show up with it. Now you're going to get banged a lot. Nothing's, this is not perfect, but you'll come back and go, whoa, like that wasn't that. What can I do to get back there? Somebody just said, oh, I'm going to my in-laws family reunion and they always, bring me down. So then take more time feeling calm. and then walk away maybe when you're there. Go out on the porch, do whatever you can, to bring back that calm, or don't go. You don't have to go.
Yeah, I had a funny joke in my head when you was talking about that, because it's like if the stove is hot, take your hand off, because if you keep it on, it's going to be painful. So might as well take it off,
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's very general, but it's like, hey, it's kind of cut and dry.
Everything I teach is so like easy and not complicated. It's just how to reconnect with you. Do you really want that? Or are you doing it because, you feel the pressure of your family or friends or social media? But trust me, if you did these small little things every day, it makes a huge difference. It's just like you don't weed your garden for a while, it's going to take forever. But if you pick the weeds every little day. So I don't care what system they have, what coach they're using, what therapist they're using. It's all the same, right? It's all about how are you going to reconnect to you? Everybody does anything in life because they want to feel better, right? Why do it?
See, I just got another visual because I'm a visual person.
Yeah, me too.
And I really see, like, if you look at life, it's almost like a garden. And I'm going to steal a lot of like old school wisdom from people from back in the day. But the point is, you always hear people talk about how you attend to your garden and how you take care of it. You see the results by what you see. Well, I see that with life too. Like, yeah, life can be a mess sometimes, but if the garden's a mess, what do? You don't just stare at it. You say, okay, you could, but it
won't get you anywhere, right?
Won't help anything grow or, look better. So my point is, we can fix the garden by finding how we can get it better. And that's through someone that can show you some things or whatever. The point is, you are learning and then you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think the more you learn and then you do what you just learned, it's like passing grades. You start gaining, all these skill sets. And I think we are like I said earlier in the show, we're so caught up trying to be this and that and this and that. I'm an expert at this. I'm an expert at that. I just listen to so-and-so talk about marketing. I just listen to so-and-so. I just bought my tickets to this conference. But it's like, and because you can read every single book in the world. You can get on every single podcast show. You can get on every single interview. But, it starts and ends with the person. And I think the less we can stop worrying about, and I know I'm going to get people mad because everyone say, don't listen to that guy. But who cares? I'm going to be original me. In my opinion, I think the less we worry about the dollar sign and the more we worry about the legacy, I think you will live a much better life.
Yeah.
Dollar signs are important because we all got to pay our bills. So don't twist that. I ain't saying be broke and don't ask for money. I'm not saying that.
No, I know.
All I'm saying is if you are trying to get to that next level of income, then maybe that means you really have to make that effort to introduce yourself to the people who are on that next level.
Yeah.
So that they can show you some of the secret sauce of maybe some better sales pitches that you have no idea how to pitch because you never been there. You never experienced, the level that maybe your next mentor is going to be. But my point is, like, everything that you said, going right back to the beginning of the show, when you talk about your beginning in your life and the projects, it leads everything to a segue to your podcast because you have a podcast. That's a perfect title.
Yeah, I love it. Let's keep it real.
See, I do that alley-oop and you dunked it. So that's what it's all about. I think the more you keep it real with yourself, the more opportunities you get. Like, I'm not going to take anything from you because you're the guest. But real quick, when I started this show, we started at the barbershop. We barely had 2, 3, 5 listeners in a week. It was embarrassing for me personally. For other people, they thought it was amazing. It's like, wow, you're at a barbershop doing this. Like, I don't even have a microphone. And it's funny how we can compare ourselves to every single person, but we neglect the people who do cheer us on. But we try to look at it as a small accomplishment. I think every accomplishment is a accomplishment. We try to knock it sometimes. And if we're not careful, we never grow because we're always looking for that home run versus just hit the baseball.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny you're talking about money because I was just at a reunion of people we hadn't seen in 30 years. And we were talking about business, and I sold my health clubs. I didn't know about COVID, but I sold them in 2019. And they're like, well, what do you care, Weston? You don't care about money. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. It's not that I didn't care about money. It just wasn't what drove me. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be successful. I want to support my family. I want to make sure everyone's like, that's why I call it financial freedom. But I want to feel the passion within me and that I'm serving myself and others. And so the biggest thing that I spend time teaching everyone is to take a step back every single day to tune into what's going on with you so that you can move forward. And if you do that, it's not going to come from fear-based. It'll come from love-based, and the opportunities and the people that will come to you will be freaking magical. Whatever marketing, whatever. When I was out with a bunch of friends, they're like, Cindy, you got to do this now. And you got to do this. And I said, this is what I hear. Wah, wah, wah. Wah. Not leave me. But I mean, it's just too much. It's not me. It didn't get me where I am today. So everyone has a different path.
And to make it super clear for people out there, because like I said, we live in an atmosphere, like if you dare to call yourself an entrepreneur, you're going to have all these people saying, well, how much money are you making? You know, you have 3 million, you have 30 million, you have 300 million. You know, it's so ridiculous in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because I've interviewed some bright minds like yourself. And the common thread I get from people is that, okay, the late Kobe Bryant, he didn't become wealthy because he shot one basket or he dunked one time. He was wealthy because of his work ethic. He was in the gym all the time. He was always grinding. So success can always be seen by what a person has done.
Yeah.
And I feel like that should always be the forefront of any conversation of someone, quote unquote, talking about massive money, because, hey, I'll stay in my lane. I'm not no financial advisor, so don't take my word and take it black and white. You need to play with colors and see what works for your lifestyle. Yeah. But my point is, don't forget the power of what you can do with your gift and talents so that when your legacy is cemented in history, dollar signs ain't going to buy you time.
No.
You ain't gonna take it when you go to the grave. So my point is that what I heard from what you said in the beginning of the show, and forgive me, but the most important thing I heard from you is the projects, because I feel like when we are real with where we've been, and we can truly understand where we're going.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are stuck because they don't appreciate the small, humble beginnings, because they neglect the rare, raw value that is in the small details of their life. And if people can stop being embarrassed about where they came from and where they started, I believe hidden in that early beginning is like the vanishing point of all the major success they ever had. It all came from something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, I'm excited about, I would love to hear more of your story. I'm like, no, make it about you, because I love that you were in a barbershop. I'm like, oh my God, that must have been awesome.
It was noisy, but it was real.
It must have been so fun.
And that's what I mean. I feel like the more real you are, the better it is. The more boring you are, it's because you're too superficial and you're not yourself. Yeah. You're trying to be this uppity bougie person. And there's no wrong being that if you got the money and you got the Bentleys, all that stuff, that's fine.
If that's who you are.
Yeah, that's cool.
I would like to be in the barbershop.
Yeah, because I feel like people, especially people are listening, they're going to hear this show and be like, oh, wow, this is just a conversation. And that's the way it should be. Even with people who do podcast shows, it's like Netflix. It's so many movies to watch. There's so many things to check out. But for you to separate yourself from the other person doing the show is your voice.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more people use their voice, not just vocally, but as their fingerprint of who they are and who they are as a human being, that's what people connect to, because that's why they listen. They listen for good information, for the latest tips, for the, the backstory, how did Sandy really do it?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about the awards, but how did she actually get that award?
Yeah.
So, man, I know I rambled, but
no, you're not. No, I love talking to you. I'm like, I want to bring you on my show so I can hear everything. I love it.
But for doing justice for the audience, you got like a minute left. Tell the audience how they can support what you do and the resources that you provide and how they can keep in touch.
Thank you, Shemaya. This was so fun. Everything is on my website, sandyjoyweston.com. I am on every single platform, but it's the same thing. Sandy Joy Weston. You can find me everywhere.
Once again, if y'all haven't hit the reset button, go ahead. You can do it after you hear the show. Just do it, man. Focus on that one word. And like I said, go to Sandy's website, sandyjoyweston.com. And I want to say thank you, Sandy, again, for being on Iron Focus Radio. Appreciate it.
Toodles.